Hello, this is Diana. This is my Trailblazers of the Universe YouTube channel. On my channel, I am helping you fearlessly and unapologetically live your best, most authentic life. I am helping you break through any barriers and transcend any limitations you may have. So today, I want to make a video on why your label is your limitation. In this world, we are throwing around labels so freely. Everything is labeled as something, right? And here's the thing, it's such an illusion because I said that we're multidimensional spiritual beings having a temporary human experience. A lot of times when we're labeling something in the physical aspect, right? Labels usually have to do with something physical. But so that's such a small part of our whole existence. Like you're limiting yourself to that. When you label something, you're identifying with that. Whether you're labeling yourself or you're labeling groups of people, that person. You know, I always say with manifestation, right? Your beliefs create your reality along with your feeling state, but we're focused more on the belief parts. But the beliefs are a very strong part of it. And they also, even with law of assumption, right? People say your assumptions about people create your reality, right? It doesn't matter. It's all, to me, it's all the same, honestly. Whether you, law of attraction, law of assumption, doesn't matter. Still, your beliefs do create reality either way. A lot of times, a label, we're defining that, right? Or you're putting your expectations, especially with other people, you're putting your expectations like that. So you expect them to act like that. So when you're putting an expectation on something, or assuming something, believing something, your focus goes on that. That's kind of like the filter that you see the world through, right? That you see, or you're viewing that person through, right? If you're expecting that guy to be like a bad person, or maybe let's say in a relationship, okay, you're expecting that guy to cheat on or something, then you're gonna hyper focus on it because that's an emotional trigger for you, right? You're expecting that, so that's where your energy is, your attention is, and you're kind of actually creating that. You're focusing on all the things you could focus on, any behavior that person does, right? And you're saying, oh yeah, see, he is that kind of guy. So your beliefs, you see the lens, you see the world through that lens, right? For instance, if you believe that rich people are evil, or whatever you might believe, I'm just think about some belief that you have, okay? So if you have that belief, any behavior they do that like matches that, you're hyper focusing on that. You see what I'm saying? Of all the behaviors you're gonna identify, because you're already giving them that definition, your reality. So like it's kind of a self-fulfilling prophecy, right? You hear self-fulfilling prophecies, right? So they're kind of acting up to your expectations, or just like you're giving energy to that. You're thinking about that. You're feeling that way, and especially if you feel emotionally triggered by that, then anything you're emotionally triggered by, you're hyper focusing on all the behaviors that person does. Since you created that label, that identity in your mind, you're expecting them to act that way, and then it's going to match, right? Because even if they do a million good behaviors, you're going to hyper focus on that one that emotionally triggers you, or that matches the belief you have. You see what I'm saying? So I think we need to stop throwing labels around. First of all, when we're labeling something, it's separation, right? We're saying this is different from this. Separation is the biggest illusion we could possibly have. We are all one. We are all from the same energy field. We are all connected energetically. We're all from one. You say from source energy, right? All from the same energy. The physical is an illusion. The 3D is an illusion. Separation is the biggest illusion. Just because our physical avatars look different, we're programmed to believe that we are separate. And then we form judgments on people that don't look like us, or on the beliefs that we're programmed by society, by the news, by the media. You see what I'm saying? Labels, I say, are a thing of the ego. Well, the ego kind of wants to feel like better than other people, or obviously wants to feel safe or protected. The ego like has, he knows everything, has everything figured out. The ego kind of likes to categorize everything, right? And that's through separation and everything. That has to do with some of the beliefs you're programmed with. So you're younger. The ego doesn't like the unknown. It doesn't like feeling uncomfortable. It wants to have everyone categorized. Oh yeah, this person's acting that way. That person's that kind of person. You know what I mean? But we got to break down the ego. The ego is needed to survive in this reality. There isn't, but we also need to incorporate our soul into everything too, right? Our spirit as well. I want you to think about this. Let's give an example. You're labeling yourself as broke. If you always say you're broke, like you believe you're broke, so if you believe you're broke, you're thinking you're broke. Then you're feeling like you're broke. So think about it. So when you give someone a label, you're expecting either yourself or the other people that you're labeling to think, feel, and act that way. You're putting that expectation. So what do you think happens when you say I'm broke? If you believe that you're broke and you keep saying it over and over again, you're giving that energy, that reality. Then you're going to feel into that, right? Every time you look at your bank account, you're going to feel the way. Or when things are too expensive, or anything that happens in life that you're emotionally triggered by anything that's related to money or spending money, right? Because you've identified with being a broke person. So you're going to keep seeing that reflect in your reality. I say the outer reality is a reflection of the inner reality. How you believe, how you feel, and then you act based on that, right? So we need to change your identity. Stop saying you're broke. Stop saying I always attract toxic relationships. Stop saying you're broken. Stop labeling things. We need to get rid of the labels. And you know what? It's not really your fault because we've been programmed like that since we were kids. In school, right? We labeled things. Oh, the popular kids, cool kids, the jocks, the nerds. You see what I'm saying? We started that since we were such a young age. And then we watch our family, our parents. The media doesn't help at all. The news, and everything is always based on race, gender, all these different things. It's all a bunch of BS. And I'm sick of hearing it. I'm sick of people judging people based on that. You're so much more than that. We're all the same energy deep down. And when you die, is any of that stuff going to matter when you die? No. It's not going to matter. But because I'm so sick of being labels being thrown around like that. Your words are powerful. That's why they call them spellings, right? So you're someone that says a bunch of affirmations, right? A lot of people in manifesting me, they say a lot of affirmations, right? You're saying all these affirmations, but what about like your self-talk? You do affirmations to create this reality. If you believe that they're that powerful, why are you still labeling yourself with all these labels? Why do you keep saying you're broken? Why do you keep saying you're broke? Why do you keep saying, I don't know how to save money? Do you know what I mean? It is whatever you say it is. If you believe that way, and you're thinking that way, feeling that way, then you're going to start acting that way, and then you know what happens? That becomes your reality. So stop labeling things. It's okay if you did. Don't beat yourself up. We've been programmed. I do that myself. I'm working on it. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm talking about this because I've gone through this. All my videos I've gone through myself, and I'm working through these things. I've seen the positive effect it can have if you change the things that I talk about. So stop labeling things. Whatever you label, you're literally giving energy to that. If you're creating a label, you literally believe that that's true. Unless you want to identify with that, unless that's the reality you want. But most of the time when we label things, it seems like it comes from a place of judgment. A lot of times it's something negative, right? So if you're going to give something a label or give other people a label, why don't you give it something positive? You're probably not happy with it, right? Do you like the way you feel when you label things? Or, so we need to break down the ego. We're all one. We're all from the same energy source. I don't care if you look different. The physical doesn't really mean anything when you die, anyway. What matters is your soul. So we all are from the same energy source. It's like, just say separation is the biggest illusion. It really is. Do an experiment. It's going to be hard if you've had labels for certain people, put expectations for certain people for a long time. It's not going to happen overnight. But try giving something more of a positive label. Just, stop labeling stuff. But if you have trouble doing that, at least try to give something a positive. Change the way you talk and feel about and think about things. Change your expectations. We need to speak more positive. Your words are very powerful. Your words are energy. You literally can speak things into existence. That's what I'm saying. Why do you think affirmations are so powerful? We say affirmations are powerful, but labels are very powerful. Labels are pretty much a form of affirmations. You know what I'm saying? Anything that defines something is putting it into that very narrow category. And even a lot of people with their jobs, right? People have jobs, right? Hey, if you're proud of your job, hey, that's cool. I'm not trying to bash anybody, but you're trying to, you're so much more than just your job. People are so oh, this person's an IT person. This person's a psychologist. That's cool. Hey, I'm not saying you shouldn't be happy with what you do, but you're so much more than what these labels that society gives us, that you give yourself, that you give other people. We just need to really have more of an awareness of it. I'm just seeing a lot of people emotionally triggered by all these labels, and I'm seeing what the media does. A little bit frustrating sometimes, and we identify that's the only way to define us. You're a multi-dimensional being. You have so many aspects to yourself, not just on the physical plane, on the mental plane, emotional plane, the spiritual plane. You are a spiritual being, have a temporary human experience. So, get rid of the labels. See how your life improves when you stop labeling things. Have an awareness. You're gonna see. I want you to pay attention today, just going forward, how many times you label something in a day. How many times you label something. Your labeling is based on your programming, which comes from schools, society, the news, the media, your friends, everything. So, pay attention to it. And how does it make you feel when you label yourself or label others? Now, and can we make a change? Can you consciously try to stop labeling things? Or at least give things a positive label. I say don't label things at all, but at least try to switch it up and do something. Because try to see something through a positive lens instead. Just like I said, if you think the world is a horrible place, That's the lens you're seeing it through. You're labeling the world as that, and therefore you're going to hyper focus on all the things in the world that are horrible and then miss all the things that aren't, that are good. I try to change the lens which you see the world through. Try to see the world through love, through connection, instead of separation and labels. That's all I have for today. So if you like my content, hit the subscribe button. If you like this video, give me a thumbs up. I have a Facebook group, Instagram, TikTok, Trailblazers of the Universe. All the links are in the description of this video and on my channel. Have a good day, everybody. Namaste.